Right.
So, and people also love repetition. Repetition is the easiest way to convince somebody that you love brain snacks. You love brain snacks. You love brain snacks. You love brain snacks. You love brain snacks.
Everybody wants to be something they're not and have shit they ain't got. Don't be a dick. Don't be an asshole. Just be nice. You don't have to be that guy. Show some respect. Just be a person. Love one.
Are we ready to roll? Oh, we're rolling already. Rolling. What?
Yeah.
Cool.
You know I'll be doing this right here. I think we already talked about Fred Durst. Let's don't give him any more.
Yeah. No, he deserves all the credit. Every podcast. I am now going to talk about Fred Durst because he deserves that love and attention. Backwards red cap.
Way better than Fred Flintstone. If you ask me.
Without a doubt.
I mean,
how you going to roll in a fucking push cart?
no,
No.
not rolling. You're not rolling.
No.
How?
I mean, Fred Flintstone was hanging out with dinosaurs, though. So that's pretty dope.
Fred Durst will be a dinosaur one day.
He already is. He's older than I am. And I'm old as
He's still fucking rocking that bucket hat, though. You know it. So, anyways, self-image.
Welcome to another podcast episode with Brain.
No, we put it up on purpose with brain snacks. Welcome back to another Jack's snack with Max the snack in his brain.
I am a snack.
He's a whole ass meal.
I'm delicious.
I'm uncomfortable.
Sweet.
So,
Welcome to another episode of Brain Snacks. With me, as always, is Jax. And I'm Max. And we're going to keep on moving down the line, talking about being stuck in life and how maybe we can help you figure out your way out of that situation.
who are you?
I'm Max, dude.
Oh, well, good. I'm glad you know.
What? Okay.
So, anyways, we're talking about self-image today.
To thine own self be true, to go all old school with it. So how do you actually get to the point where you go, I know who I am. I'm comfortable with who I am. What are your thoughts on that? Because I feel like I know who I am. And defining that a little bit further is basically just I'm comfortable with who I am. I'm comfortable in my own skin. So when somebody tries to attack or ridicule me or they want to poke fun, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah.
Like whatever. If they say something that's blatantly wrong, I'm just like, whatever.
Yeah, well, you've when you finally do appreciate yourself and appreciate like your life experiences that have led you to where you are, I think you're more secure in your self-image and who you are.
Yeah.
And so you have a filter now, basically, that can filter out, just hate or just things that come at you.
The noise.
That are, because there are people, everyone is there to cut you down in some way, whether they realize it or not. And that's just human nature because we're all like, here's me. And they're like, no, here's me. And you're like, here's me. It's like, at some point you start just kind of getting tired of all the noise.
It's a competitive nature.
Right. And you learn to stand, as your own, tree, pretty much. You're like, I'm me and you're you, and that's what it is.
Self-rooted.
Yeah, for sure. That
was the connection I just made with you.
Well, that's a mechanism that I use is I literally call it being like finding your like my tree, because I imagine a tree and I imagine how it stands parallel with other trees, and it doesn't really take away from one or the other.
But then the branches start to interlock.
Well, that's really poetic.
Come on.
That's really
There
poetic.
we go. There we go.
Right. Yeah, pull letter is going to be. So, but yeah.
That's good.
I mean, really, it's a struggle. It's a struggle for me every day. You know? I mean, just to wake up and just, look at your reflection and not look away. I think that's, it's not because I'm ugly or this or that. It's just because you know yourself better than anyone. And if you know all the things about yourself and all of your little nooks inside, and you can appreciate them, then you learn to look at yourself different and carry yourself different. Yeah. And literally it's about that. Life is about that in a lot of ways, because the same a really, you know, a person who's really had a lot of rich experiences can go in somewhere and carry themselves really poorly and not be taken seriously or not be given this or, you know, or not be
given respect.
Yeah, respect. Whereas someone who's really trash can go in. I mean, by my opinion, it's like trash person can go in there and carry themselves totally owning that shit and walk away with the prize. You know what I mean? And you just, when you sit back, I mean, at least from my life experience, I sit back and I look at things like being a creative and watching people. And I think it was one of the things was like pop music, like what's popular and stuff. I mean, like, oh, like, you know, this song, like it only has like 3 lyrics, you know? And I'm like, meanwhile,
3 lines,
going through my notes and it's like, you know, these, you know, really spaced out things or like really like elaborate
bearing
concepts.
your soul.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, but it's about that delivery and you know, getting older, I started to understand like that's just more marketable and like that, you know, all those things they play into things like that.
Well, people in general like nice, neat little packages. Right. So, and people also love repetition. Repetition is the easiest way to convince somebody that you love brain snacks. You love brain snacks. You love brain snacks. You love brain snacks. You love brain snacks.
Dustin, will you play that backwards for 30 seconds?
But
we're on our way to world domination.
Yes. I won't let it go to my head.
I want to dominate.
I will be a very benevolent co-ruler.
So will I. We're equals. Not really.
Tripod. Boom. Right
Trifecta.
there. Boom. Dustin's in on that power. He'll just be the man behind the curtain.
Is a triangle like is that like an outlawed symbol now?
No. Tripod.
Okay.
Tripod.
I just want to make sure because you know this is what
all-seeing eye.
Yes. What is this white
Illuminati.
I heard if it's below the belt and
you guys heard of you guys
not white
obviously you've heard all the conspiracy theories on television over the last several years. What you haven't heard of is the new super secret organization called the Illuminati.
The Illuminati.
That's us.
Oh my God! Did you start that? Did we just do that? The Illuminati.
Yup. Illuminati.
It's okay.
Boom. But back to self-image and self-worth is being able to really understand who you are as a person and being firm in your moral beliefs. Doesn't necessarily mean that your moral beliefs line up with your spiritual beliefs, because your spiritual beliefs may, for instance, say that being gay is evil and bad and wrong and you can't associate with these gay people. But your personal moral compass outside, separate from your spiritual compass, is going, well, you know, these gay people are just people too.
Yeah.
They're struggling with, they have their own struggles in life.
Right.
They're probably dealing with things that I'll never even comprehend, being a straight white man in America.
Right.
Now, there's no reason why those two can't coexist in the same person.
Yeah.
But having the self-awareness to step aside from that spiritual morality and sticking with your own personal moral compass, which I think in this parallel spiritually would be more Christ-like to step away from that spiritual or religious mentality.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's more essential to you too, because that's your moral compass.
Yeah.
That's not you beholding to what what the scripts in the sand say.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's a very good point.
It's a different video.
And nowadays it seems like we have so much pressure we're performers for a living. That's what we do. But we have so much pressure put on us.
For a living. I don't know what you do, but I pull firearm cable.
He's pretty good at pulling cable.
That's all I'll ever do.
You can catch him at the Pilot right down the street in about 45 minutes if you need some cable pulled.
You need me to pull your cable. Yeah, part-time lot lizard.
Pull the cable day and night. Let's go.
Hey, it's part of my freaking goals, dude.
Hey,
so just back off.
You're trying to save money. I get it. You're trying to put money aside.
Trying to make coin.
Trying to build a future.
I'm making the coin. I'm not saving it. I'm making it.
That's what's up.
I'm making it.
But God.
No, seriously. No, seriously. I'm just doing this lot loaded Facebook group.
Oh, man.
On the way up here. I almost had a wreck with a truck driver, ironically enough.
Oh, I'm glad that you didn't. I'm glad that you arrived alive, buddy. It's.
I wish I could say the same, man.
But we are under so much pressure to perform for others, or we feel like there's so much pressure for us to perform for others just on social media. The faces that a lot of people that you see or that you portray on social media should not diverge from who you are as a person because you're trying to impress somebody else. And that's one of the main reasons why I haven't been posting on social media hardly at all, which hopefully by the time this airs, that will have changed due to getting back to promoting the band I play for, but also promoting this podcast.
Well, for us, we have to. But I understand what you're saying. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but are you saying that your lack of posting on social media is in line with how you feel about social media
currently?
And so that's why you don't post.
Currently, yes. And a lot of it, to put that in context, is I don't want to be fake. I don't want to be phony. I don't want to present this this happy-go-lucky guy that is just hunky-dory with everything that's going on in the world, because I'm not in any way, shape, or form okay with what's going on. And I'm slowly coming to the realization, especially with some of the recent circumstances that I had been posting on social media, I've come to the realization that people need to hear more positivity. And when people want to attack you in a negative light, or attack your character or you as a person, or even just your image, not your self-image, but like your actual image.
Just how you look.
Yeah.
Just people being complete jerks.
I think it sets a better example and sets a better tone for change and unity to go ahead and start posting in a much more positive context. So instead of engaging in mudslinging like I've been privy to over the last few, by the way, that's a great, privy is a bathroom. The slinging, I'm just saying. The people will get it. People won't get it. It's fine. But the slinging that I've been privy to recently has made me just kind of go, you know what? I need to show all these haters that there's another way to go about having a conversation. You can't entertain it and also show the correct way. Yes, you can't. And that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. And the recent posts that I've had on social media, Facebook primarily, because I don't even deal with Twitter anymore, because that's just nothing but hate. This is cesspool. Yeah, it is really. And you only get like a little bit to say, so like you kind of got to be an asshole. No, you don't. Let me rephrase that. I'm gonna suck that back. I'm gonna go back and I'll state this on the record. It's on film. It's on audio. I am an asshole. I've never claimed to not be. I am aware that I am an asshole. Yes. I love that song. I love that song. I know that song. I love that song. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of the rest of the album, but that song's my jam. I've never claimed to not be an asshole. However, I have always tried and strived to treat other people with the same amount of respect that I would like to be treated with. Regardless of if they throw the first stone, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and be nice. I'll give them 2 or 3. I'll go, again, full turn the other cheek, whatever. They keep going. I used to, at that point, after the second or third jab at me, I'm just like, well now going. I'm gonna turn a whole nother cheek and show you my ass now, because in the hole. Yeah. Then here we go. In the hole. And I got two W's on it too. It says wow. Unless I do a cartwheel and it says wow mom. Wow mom. Yeah. Sorry mom. I know she might watch this later. But I try to set the tone now and get people to understand that you don't have to just automatically write somebody off and just attack. So
that's what happens so much.
Yeah.
And you don't get anywhere doing that, man.
Well, the people and talking about self-image, the reason I can do that without engaging in the animosity and the hatred and the arguing and resentment, the reason I don't I can go forward with having a peaceful conversation with these idiots is because I'm comfortable with who I am. So I'm okay with laughing at myself. Like,
and you're okay
I'm laughing at myself.
You're okay with being vulnerable too, which is what I feel like a lot of people, when they get attacked, they don't want to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
They don't want to set the tone for positivity. They want to immediately just put up the guard and go at it.
Yeah.
And if there were enough people, hopefully all these listeners who are listening now could trust that if you do just be vulnerable, set the tone in alignment with your moral standing and try to actually get to reason, you know, a lot of these stupid Facebook fights wouldn't even happen, or at least they wouldn't be chased to the furthest extent of negativity possible.
Like
Dr. Pepper's everywhere, all over
like
this.
420 comments worth of bull, and it was so bad. But
like, take out the trash. Like, just go take out your trash, or like maybe like take a walk.
Is that really the most productive way you can spend your time? Is to sit down on Facebook for 6 hours having an argument with somebody you don't even know? Like, what motivates you as a person to do that? Like, why? And it's because you're trying to prove something to either yourself or to your tribe. So either you're virtue signaling, which means that you don't know who you are because you're just trying to appeal to this ideology that you probably don't even believe in, which is why you're trying to make it so public that you wear your mask or that you condemn these live bands that play during the time of COVID. Or you are
Couldn't agree more with that, man.
You are so insecure with who you are that you feel it's completely necessary and to just go ahead and try to destroy somebody and break their self-esteem down. So that trying to stay as far away from that as possible. How do you start to come to know yourself? How do you become secure in who you are as a person? And how do you move forward through life in a way that projects your own confidence in who you are? And the best way that I can describe that is by living the example and setting the example of who you are, showing people exactly who you are, being the changes that you want to see in the world. That's actually up here in the studio.
And to be perfectly clear, like, I've heard that. You've heard that so many times.
Yes,
everyone's heard that so many times.
I finally it was Gandhi that said it.
Right, and so several people might think that's a super cliche thing to say, but it's so true. It's so true, man.
Some of the most cliche
Marinating
things
on it a little bit, it's like without you being the change, there is no change. It will not change.
If you're performing for other people on social media or in a public setting, and I'm not talking about this what I do for a living, I'm talking about you're putting on a fake front, a fake face. You can't honestly say that you know who you are because you're not comfortable enough to be yourself around these people. And not everybody I meet gets the same, necessarily the same version of me, because I have my good days and I have my bad days. So I have my public show face, which is, hey, how you guys? Good to see you. No, I didn't just drive 14 hours to be here. That's a different story. I know who I am, but I don't want to make somebody feel bad for trying to have a conversation with me at the same time. That's me knowing myself and knowing that if I were in their shoes and I'm a friend of this person or I'm a fan of this person, I don't want to leave a bad taste in their mouth because you have a healthy
level of empathy.
Yeah.
And that's good.
I think the world could use a little bit more empathy, but across all spectrums, not just the liberals trying to empathize with everybody else, not just the conservatives trying to empathize with their base. Like, there needs to be more coming together of both sides going, okay, I understand why the liberals think this way. Doesn't mean I agree,
But
I understand how they could come to that understanding. And then again, conversely, you have the conservative side where it's like, I understand, or the liberals go, I understand where the conservatives are coming from. And maybe there's something that they're saying that we can take from. I
like to watch, like, just riffing on that for a second. A lot of people that agree with me on certain issues, like more, I'm a little more conservative, I mean, if I had to say, I really don't know, but I like to watch the left. I watch CNN or MSNBC or whatever. I like to read the nastiest things or whatever because it's like, I want to understand what that is. Yeah. Like it the way it's presented is such a like crisis thing. Mm-hmm. And so like, I'm not so blinded that I'm like, oh, that's probably something stupid. Mm-hmm. I really want to know what it is. And then eventually I'll get to the point and be like, oh, that's all it was, and I mean, but I understand. Yeah. Don't agree with it all the time, but I understand. Again, I understand the outrage that we get for, again, continuing to play during the time of COVID. Mm-hmm. I understand it to a certain extent, but to just blanket everything with outrage is no way to live. And again, how do these people really how do they know themselves? Because all I hear is them parroting somebody else's words. Now, if that's truly what you believe, I respect your opinion, but you're also going to have to respect my right to just go ahead and disagree with you, because that's how life is. Because that's how respect works too. That's like, if you're not willing to respect someone else, then how could someone respect you? Yeah. Also, if you don't respect yourself, how can you respect anybody else? And you feel okay being firm about that, I mean, because you are actually attempting to understand someone else while expecting to be respected. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of it, talking about in this episode, getting out of your own head. A lot of the reason that I haven't posted anything on social media is because I've been wrapped up in my own mind, just going, well, if I post anything on social media, it can be taken way out of context. So if I type it out, that can be like instantly pulled way out of context, because I'm often very sarcastic in my posts. That's just, I think it's funny, and some people won't read it. And even if I like star all caps, super sarcasm here, and I post it, people will still go, I can't believe that you said that you would kick a dead baby across the hallway. Yeah, where the hell's the sense of humor? Like, did you sarcasm? I'm like, it was a joking post. I'm sorry. But there are people that would legitimately completely bypass that sarcasm and just go straight to, you would kick a dead baby across the hallway just because they wanted to into a field of cats. Like, what? Like, again, completely arbitrary. I'm not saying that I would actually do this. I'm just saying, as an example, people would immediately jump on, this guy's nuts and a Satanist, and oh my God. Yeah. And exactly. I feel that way. But I almost sort of like to do that still, like in spite, like even knowing that people are going to take it out. Yeah. Like I have tattoos that could be misinterpreted or whatever. And I almost really like that, because it filters out people that maybe I don't even really want to, I don't really need to know that type of person. If a t-shirt is going to deter you, like if that's going to keep you from approaching me, then maybe I didn't want you to approach me. That makes it makes a lot of sense. And because again, who I am, just go search Max War on Facebook. You'll see a lot of pictures that don't look anything like this, and that's totally fine. But a lot of soft porn too. You get a lot of shirtless pics. Not anymore. Not anymore. I haven't been playing with the shirt off for a while. Time with those shirtless pics. Oh yeah, Dustin has to. Yeah. Well, he was forced to when he was doing video work for the Pygmies. See, that poor bastard can't help it. I know he has for a fact. Yeah, that is true. But watching your sweat pour out. But most times in your shirtless body. I think it was mainly Cam. Well, I mean, Cam is basically softcore porn on stage. But going back, like my image for shows, like mohawk, sleeveless shirts, tight pants, leather vest. I mean, I look
way more hardcore than I actually am in real life. And I'll go into a gas station and I'll get stares.
Oh, dude, I love that. I get that too.
Where you said that you like how it'll filter some people out, I look at it in a slightly different way. I look at it as a challenge because these people already feel uncomfortable. How do I set them at ease? Chrissy and I were in Texas. We just finished a show with the Pygmies. We stopped at a gas station after, and the guy behind the counter is just staring me down. Checking out my wife because she looked hot that night. She looks hot every day, but that night particularly sizzling. Sizzling. He's staring me down, just trying to figure me out because Mohawk. Like, is this guy gonna rob me? What the hell? And then the song from Caddyshack comes on. I'm all right.
Okay.
And me and Chrissy, like, without,
Generation
and this is the beautiful thing about long-term relationships is you start to share the same wavelengths in your brain. Is we just looked at each other and just immediately started doing the gopher dance.
And this guy
with
was totally just
no words. And we just start doing that. I'm all right. Ain't nobody worry about me. And this guy's behind the counter just looking at us going, what? So I get up there and I'm just like, hey man, what's up? And I go to pay for our drinks. And he goes, man, I would not have thought you would be dancing like that, looking like you do. And like what?
Well, maybe you should,
No, but the way that I look at it now, and I'm sure that you look at it this way as well to a certain extent, but I like, again, one of the reasons we're doing this podcast is I like breaking down people's preconceived notions. So they expect me to be an asshole or like some hardcore douchebag or like, whatever, because the way that I look, I have tattoos and I have a mohawk and I have eyeliner on. And then I go up in there with my wife and we grab a drink and then Caddyshack comes on and I'm just like,
yep.
Just we're wiggling around. They're just like, what the hell just happened? This dude looks like he's, going to sacrifice a cat. But no, he's dancing the gopher song from Caddyshack. So
yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I like, as I'm the older I get, I'm like that. Yeah. But especially starting out, like when we would start, we started wearing makeup. That was the first thing. Shock. And I think being in high school and just being like wanting to just be that little, it's like the little punk in you. Like I liked the shock.
Yeah.
And
this guy too.
And I like to just let that linger for a while. Now I like, especially I can understand you. And I definitely agree with that. Now it's more about like how to make something positive out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And not just being completely just wanting the mystery. You know what I mean? Like I love that. Like,
yeah.
Because I always kind of thought of it as a way to kind of get, as far as just being in a band, gets people's interest up.
Yeah.
Because when you don't go out there and totally, explain yourself, then people want to know what it is. Yeah. And so
the curiosity bug. But
at some point you start feeling like you need to, in order to have anybody around at all, you got to let the light shine, through all the the gimmick or whatever you want to call it. I think Velcro Pygmy is pretty gimmicky, if I'm not mistaken.
A little bit.
Pretty gimmicky.
I mean, it's a lot of people say like.
I mean that in the best way possible.
Say gimmicky, but at the same time, it's like we're a big production band, so we have big lights, big PA system, and when I joined the band, I mean, not much has really changed about what I do or how I play. I just turned my image from like 6 to 11. This one goes to 11.
Right.
And that was really the only change that happened. Like, again, I may have actually I may have turned up my entertainer side a little bit more, but that's about it.
Right.
I've actually become a much better player since becoming a Pygmy, despite not being a real musician anymore. Well, that I play covers.
Probably the bass for 4 nights a week. Oh yeah. It's just absurd. Why do you want to do that?
I'm just having fun.
Why would you want to sell out like that, man.
I'm just trying to pay my bills.
Yeah.
I don't want to live in my mom's basement anymore. There's no basements in Southern Louisiana for those of you
Don't ever
curious,
wear
man.
another punk shirt ever again, man.
Don't tell me my business.
Ugh.
Don't tell me how to live, Jax.
No,
I'm not going there.
no.
Again, getting out of your own head, it's the reason that I didn't get on social media for so long was because I was so concerned with cancel culture that somebody was going to see something that I posted. So I'd second guess every time I would go to
Just
post something.
wrestling with it.
Yeah.
Every word.
But it's not just there. Like whenever we would be playing shows, granted the Pygmies have a more conservative fan base, but even still, like I don't want to like step on somebody's toes or hurt somebody's feelings. So I'm questioning what I'm doing. And that's me I get stuck there.
Well, you
And
have awareness.
But it's aware. It's not just awareness though, because I'm worried that it could happen. Like something that I say could potentially like have real world
And
consequences.
just put a stop to something.
Yeah,
You know, put a stop to your.
well, the Pygmies aren't gonna stop playing. What's gonna happen is if I were to run Cam, the singer, he would probably be the one to get canceled before anybody because he likes to talk.
Stoke that fire, baby.
And again, I support him wholeheartedly in his want and need to rant and rave. But if it were me that were to get canceled, I mean, the Pygmies just fire me and hire somebody else and go along their happy way. And I've been so worried and preoccupied with those kinds of thoughts. And at this point, like knowing myself, knowing who I am now, I'm just like, you know what? That's what this podcast is for.
Yeah.
Now I can put voice to these thoughts and voice to these opinions and how it's okay for you at home or listening, or you or Dustin or Andrew. It's okay for you guys to disagree with somebody as long as you're not being a dick about it.
But you're giving the context.
Yeah.
You're not giving the soundbite. You're not giving the comment.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you if you're watching this podcast, you're obviously taking the time. I hope so. Taking the time to watch the full podcast and really understand what we're saying, and try to understand it as best possible. Besides just taking, the little nugget, that you don't like, and then using that as ammunition to cancel somebody, which is what happens.
Mm. Yeah, that's happened a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the people that are doing
Is thinking a crime?
critical thinking apparently is a crime
critical
nowadays.
thinking a crime?
Critical thinking has become is an albatross.
If you don't believe in critical
Albatross.
thinking, how are you going to approach anything in life?
Mm.
I want to know how the person who doesn't believe in critically thinking can actually approach something in life. Anything.
Like climate change.
Yeah.
Critical thinking. Science. Follow the science.
Yeah.
No.
Follow the science.
Yeah.
If the science is there, the science is there.
I'm just I want
Follow the truth.
I want
The truth
people
comes
to be
out.
a little bit I'd like for people to be a little bit more introspective. And try to figure out why they say some of the things that they say and why you do the things you do. Like we're talking about how I developed a filter. There are people that literally just vomit all over Facebook and Twitter. They do this on the daily. They do this hourly sometimes. And it's how do you even know who the you are?
Mm-hmm.
If
you're always talking.
If all you're doing is putting everything out on social media.
Mm-hmm.
And why do you feel that is a good thing? That's the main
Not
question.
listening to others keeps you in your own head.
Yeah.
It's kept me in my own head for a long time.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Just not actually listening. Listening, but really just thinking about what I want to say.
Sorry, you were talking?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, that was a dramatic version, but seriously, listening creates, you should have an open mind when listening to someone else,
Mhm.
and be able to kind of move back from yourself a little bit, because that's how you get out of your own head. You're literally moving away from yourself to listen to what someone else has to say. And that's the nature of getting out of your own head is not overthinking, but overdoing. Without overdoing.
Go do some stuff and things.
Yeah, go take out your trash instead of posting that you ate a meal on Facebook. I mean, if it's a nice meal, I mean, I'll look at it. I'll give it a like.
Okay. Why
that need though? Why the need to just like when something happens in life, why the need to be like, oh, I need to share. I mean, share it.
It's a lot of it is just attention seeking.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I think there isn't anybody out there, I think, that can actually say, it's like, yeah, no, they're not looking for attention. They're just posting something. It's like, if you're posting, again, a lot, like,
you're posting to social media. You're looking to be social and to get others' opinions, approval, disapproval, whatever.
And at what point does that approval become too much and it take on a life of its own? And then you as an individual become a completely different person than you started out as.
Mm-hmm.
How is that healthy?
It's not, man.
And again, this is one of the reasons why I don't really post a lot on social media anymore. Certainly don't post my opinions and thoughts.
Yeah.
Outside of the fact that, hey, you guys shouldn't be douchebags to each other anymore. I was like, you want to pick on me? Here's my picture, the goofiest picture I can currently find. That's the most recent picture. Rip on this for a minute.
Yeah.
I was like, I can take it because I think it's funny. Like, was I half step off in this picture or did I shit my skinny jeans? Yeah, that's funny.
That's really you coming in there though. Yeah. And I think a lot of people, that's not really them coming in when they come in.
They put on a brave face.
Yeah. And it's the keyboard warrior.
Mm-hmm.
It can manifest itself in some really terrible ways. I think that attention seeking and overvaluing others' opinions on social media can really manifest itself to a point where you do not know who you are.
Yeah.
Has for me. I understand that all too well. I mean, seriously.
I think
for me, like I've almost withdrawn completely at times just because and it's almost become a thing where I don't even want to look, which only makes your mindset a little weaker or feel weaker because you feel like you don't even want that. You don't want to give someone the chance to cut it down.
Yeah.
And that's hurting you too by blatantly not doing it for that reason. But being cautious and trying to stay in touch with yourself on social media, 100%.
I think you have a lot more insight on self-image and getting out of your own head than I do.
Well, I'm 21,
I think maybe it's not that you have more I think you have a better way of presenting it than I do. Because I'm struggling right now to really explain how, like, my self-image, how I got to be the way that I am. I'm just like, I just feel like I've slowly evolved over time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was through, again, a lot of individual soul searching, going through, my life and who I wanted to be, what kind of man I wanted to be, and what kind of husband I wanted to be, what kind of entertainer that I wanted to be. And all these things culminate into who I am now. And how to convey that to somebody else and say, okay, here are the steps that I took. Mm-hmm. Like, well, I didn't necessarily take any steps. It was just, this is how I evolved as a person, as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So
you start to try to look back and notice some type of pattern or like what, like how the way you're thinking, how you thought about it, and everyone's a book, everyone's got their experiences.
Well, it wasn't until I started actually doing a lot of self-reflection and started actually kind of judging myself on the way I responded to the negative things that were in my life that I started to go, wait, I don't have to feel this way about this.
Mm-hmm.
I can take a step back and go, well, if I don't want this result and I don't want to feel this feeling anymore, this negativity, how do I remove that from my life?
Dude, you're speaking to me right now too, and without realizing it, because I'm learning that in real time. I'm learning that I've learned that within the last week. I mean, it's vulnerable. I'm nurturing it, but to be able to realize there's two paths, like with everything, like this, like we're doing this podcast, you come in here with a certain attitude, it's going to go this way.
Yeah.
but there's also another timeline. And so when you feel yourself dipping off into that other one, you have to like be like, okay, no. And you move past it. Like I visualize myself moving past that event after I've already done what you just said, where I'm like, okay, this could go this way. Like I'm going to move past that. And also working on getting out of your own head, transcending like the environment that you're in and trying to like get out of it, like get out of your experiences, get out the meat of it without feeling like it's, I don't know, you kind of lose yourself. You lose the self when you get out of your own head.
Yeah. And
you just kind of become immersed in the world that you're in or the environment that you're in without feeling like it's, I don't know. I don't know. I like I said, I'm still working, but everyone should be. Yeah. And I'm not like afraid to like, put myself like out there like that, and give away like what I think about.
No, I feel you.
Self-image and stuff.
The way that the realization came to me, especially about
probably sound like I tripped on acid, but I haven't actually taken acid.
That would be a great podcast episode.
Yeah.
Jaxon and Max, acid snacks.
No, but I would be lying if I said that the usage of the CBD hasn't helped me.
Hey, it's
dude. I mean, sometimes you need to give yourself a break, man, and just calm down. Because I struggle with it, like, calming the fuck down.
Dude, anxiety is a real thing. I mean, it's
wake up, panic. Wake up. How am I going to grab my phone? I don't know.
Well, you see that's another problem that society has. We'll cover on another
analysis paralysis.
Another larger podcast. No, not analysis. The first thing you said was, "Wake up. How am I going to grab my phone?" I was like, "Why are you grabbing
your phone?
Yeah, why are you grabbing your phone the first thing in the morning?"
Exactly.
Just saying.
Oh, that's another thing.
Notification. Matthew
McConaughey.
All right.
That was it. But Matthew McConaughey was on Rogan recently, and he said that every morning he wakes up, and for the first 10 minutes, he's only focused on connecting with himself. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to lay there and think, cool. If he wants to read a book, cool. But can't get on the phone, can't connect with the rest of the world mentally. You wake up in the morning, you're the only person for 10 minutes.
Oh, I'll try that.
I mean, it really,
I'll try it.
Cool.
I'll try it after we're done recording this series, this taping, however long it takes. But either to tomorrow, starting Monday or Tuesday of this coming week. I'll do that.
I've tried
every day.
I'm trying it still.
I'll do it every day until the next taping, and then we'll talk briefly about if I feel like it made a difference.
Right. You'll feel yourself. You'll feel if you.
I feel myself daily, man. I've been married for 5 years. Right. I feel myself all the time.
Oh. Well, that's good.
It's a masturbation joke.
All right.
All right. But
self-image.
Once I learned how to
average.
Yeah.
I was harping back. I said that before. It was cheap of me.
Once I learned how to take a step back and stop looking at everything in a negative connotation and stop comparing myself to other people, that was when my eyes really opened to the possibilities of becoming a better person. I didn't have it was when I decided to let go of that jealousy and that resentment. With Gypsy Riot, we had such a great group, extremely talented individuals. Again, I'm playing in a band with my extremely talented and beautiful wife. I'm so fortunate, and I didn't feel like my band, we weren't getting paid enough. We weren't getting the right gigs. I felt like we were being slighted by these other overrated bands that were, undercutting us or going in for, $200 cheaper. And the second I stopped thinking in those terms and I took a big step back, I went, okay, so instead of trying to blame my shortcomings, which I took the band's shortcomings all on me. They were all.
I feel that in my soul.
But that's just the way that I think about projects like this podcast, it was going to be a giant fight between the two of us and probably Dustin too, as to who's going to be the biggest at fault for failure.
Whoa, you're already accepting failure?
No,
I'm not.
No.
Come back on the train.
I'm on.
I just heard that word, the F word, and I was like, no.
Yeah, no. I am never going to plan for this to fail. I think this is a great thing. If not for anybody else, I think we're going to get a lot out of it. That's all that matters to me.
I already am.
Well, outside of maybe helping out a couple other people that may need to hear some of these words. But it was at that point when I let go of that resentment and that jealousy that I got so much happier and so much more creative, and like took what Gypsy Riot was doing, which was already, in my opinion, and a lot of people's opinion, but in my opinion was already really, really good. It took it to a whole nother level, like brand new light show. And I mean, with the same lights, but I reprogrammed everything.
Dude,
new stage set. And, we had this whole new drum line thing. Like, so everybody was up front doing.
That was the bananas thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So, but
Man, that's so
that
cool.
would
That's so
never,
cool you say
that
for
would
real.
never have happened had I kept that jealousy mindset, that resentment mindset, and I kept blaming somebody else for why I didn't have what I wanted. It's his fault, or it's this band's fault. It's my agent's fault. It's my manager's fault. It's my band's fault. The second I stopped putting the blame on everybody else and just went, you know what? Maybe it's because I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah, you like instead of looking away from it, you look at it.
Yes.
And I want to add something like to that, because that is so that's super insightful, man. Like that touched that got me, because your brain, what I'm starting to realize is your brain, like a lot of people think of positive, like negative thought patterns. I want to stop negative thought patterns. Well, how do I do that? And then they make it this like long-term thing, but it's a fight. It's a long fight.
Yeah.
But your brain, your actual perspective in your mind can change within 1 second, less than that. Like you could actually let go of that in 1 second.
Yeah.
You're going to have to fight to do that every single day. But to actually, people are like, where'd I get started? Like you let go of it right there. And then tomorrow you let go of it again, or maybe in an hour you have to let go of it again. I don't know. It depends, different for everyone, but your mind can flip positively in 1 second.
Oh yeah. Well, I agree with that, because again,
from a scientific perspective, you know what I mean? I mean, seriously, like,
well, no, I completely agree, because for me, like what I was just talking about, it was literally pretty much like you just said, a switch. When I just went, you know what? Successful people don't make excuses. So what's an excuse? Well, it's not my fault. It's this person's fault. It's this person's fault. It's this person's fault. Rather than looking in the mirror and going, are you really doing everything you can to make sure that you're a success?
if everyone did that.
Well, again, but I tried to apply that not just to the band and the music. I started I took that ability to not put resentment or jealousy or blame on anybody else and started taking that onto myself. So like my personal actions, it wasn't long after that was actually when I quit drinking. That was because I wasn't putting the blame on somebody else. So I wasn't self-medicating my anger and resentment for other people. For that anger and resentment wasn't other people's fault. That was my responsibility to put a cap on it. And I wasn't doing that. So what was I doing? I was just getting drunk.
Just trying to numb it.
Yeah. So I came to that realization, thankfully, because my wife sent me a video of me being drunk.
Right.
And again, I think we talked about that in the intro episode. And the fact that if she hadn't sent me that, I probably would not have stopped drinking. So I can't thank her enough for that. But that was my second flip switch.
Mm.
Switch flip. Strike that, reverse it.
Nintendo Switch sponsors.
Switch flip switch.
It's for your health.
Pre-snacks, Jaxon Max.
Man, I had something I was going to say. I forgot now, but it's all good.
Sorry.
Keep going. Your riffing is it's good.
But this is about knowing yourself, self-image, and really trying to get out of your own head. When we talk about getting out of your own head, it's not about getting completely living in the moment is great. Do that. But that doesn't mean that you stop thinking about how to better your life. When we talk about getting out of your own head, it's about the excuses that you're going to make to yourself ultimately. And we all do this. I do this on a daily basis, but it's how you overcome all that negativity and all of the naysay that's in the back of your mind. In the back of your mind, there's something telling you that, you shouldn't go to the gym today. Why? Why would you go to the gym today?
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. Well, that's true. And a lot of times you have to tell yourself that you don't have the option to think that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're saying, like successful people do not make excuses. Like, sorry, bro, it's the only option today. Mm-hmm. It's what's for dinner, bitch. Like you got to eat it and feel good about it. Mm-hmm. And you do feel good about it. And you trust that when you come home from the gym, you're going to feel good.
I usually don't go to the gym. I don't work out really at all anymore. I just do like 10 minutes yoga in the morning. Now that I had a wrist problem a couple weeks ago, so I haven't been doing a whole lot, but I'm doing a lot better now.
I feel like, people say yoga is like super like enlightening.
For me, it's quiet. It's like 10 to 15 minutes of kind of quiet time. But for me, it's mostly medicinal because I have extreme lower back pain if I don't do it. So it's kind of, there's my motivation. It's like,
right. Don't want my back to hurt all day.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
I guarantee you, if there were physical pain consequences to motivate you to be, I'm pretty sure like if my right hand or my left pinky would hurt like for an hour and a half for every day that I didn't pick up guitar or bass, I guarantee I'd be playing every damn day. But there's no physical consequence outside of the fact that in my mind I'm going, yeah, but if I don't play today, then my calluses are going to start to soften. And then I'm not going to be able to play the next show as effectively, which means that I'm not going to perform as well. And then as soon as I hit the performer switch, that goes, well, now you got to get off your ass and go do something because you can't be a half-ass performer.
Right. You don't look for other people to fill your cup for you. You fill your own cup. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And you feel good about it. Mm-hmm. Makes you feel a lot better. And it keeps you in the real world. And we're fixing to
cut it.
Did you subscribe?